Welcome to Fashion Reverie Talks. I am Tijana Ibrahimovic.
And I am Cicily Daniels.
Fashion Reverie takes you from the front lines of fashion to the front row.
All of Fashion Reverie Talks segments are based on published content found on fashionreverie.com.
So remember, if you want more information on the segments, go to fashionreverie.com.
In this last episode of the season, we are so happy to have author and fashion publicist Scott French. We are also joined by Fashion Reverie Editor-in-Chief William S. Gooch, who will conduct our Fashion Reverie fashion quiz. But let's get started with the fashion news. All of our news segments are based on the fashion news alerts found on fashionreverie.com.
So let's jump into the current events in fashion. I'm going to start off with Naomi Campbell's new museum exhibit. So Naomi Campbell is actually the first model ever to have an exhibit dedicated to her. She started modeling when she was like 15, and it's a really, really long career that she's had. It opened June 22nd. And Patrick, it's all about her career, how she started at 15, walking in Patrick Calley's fashion show, to her iconic career as one of Karl Lagerfeld's muses. So to the present day, she does, makes great changes in fashion and always leaves a big, stamp of innovation. So I do just want to apologize. I'm outside at an event in the Hamptons, so it's a little bit loud and it's a little bit hot, but that's how we do it here with Fashion Reverie Talks.
You're being fabulous, like Naomi Campbell, or the next person that I'm going to talk about, star Rihanna, who has a new job. The global pop icon was recently named brand ambassador for Parfums Christian Dior's J'adore. Now, I also, number one, I just love J'adore, and I also love Rihanna. And, she has to say that being the face of J'adore is a real honor for her, and she knows how much this fragrance has meant to her and other women, and that, she's really looking forward to capturing the creativity and the femininity in the perfume. And they say that J'adore is the perfume of a powerful, liberated, and independent woman, which obviously is something that we think about when we think about Rihanna. And I think that this is a good collaboration. I think that, them working together makes a lot of sense.
I love J'adore myself.
It's such a good fragrance.
I J'adore everything Dior.
Well, there you go.
Just sent my way. So, actually, we all know that the Olympics are coming close in July in Paris. They will be hosted by French this year. And Ralph Lauren is designing the outfits for the U.S. Olympic team. So we all love his style, obviously. And for the opening ceremony, uniform for the U.S. team will feature a single-breasted wool blazer with red and white tipping, a stripped Oxford shirt, and a tapered jean paired with classic suede buck shoes. And for the closing ceremony, athletes have a sporty moto-style jacket with a white denim and a polo shirt from the brand's custom Create Your Own program.
That sounds fantastic. I mean, the Olympics are always such a, I think it's always an exciting opportunity for the designer of the outfits. And I think that it's going to be great. It's going to feel, patriotic and fashionable.
Yes.
And I think that's the end of our fashion news alerts.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but you guys know, even when we're on our break, you want to keep current, know what's happening in fashion, go to the fashion news on fashionreverie.com.
Yeah, we'll still be writing articles. All right, so it is time for a fashion quiz. And our very good friend, Scott French, is joining us. And who will be quizzing us? It will be William Gooch, our editor-in-chief. So let the best win again.
Oh my gosh, Tijana, stop rubbing it in, okay? I showed
well,
up.
Tijana. Tijana, you win every fashion quiz. You win. So I decided let's do something a little different this time. Let me be the host of the quiz. And we're going to bring in more competition, which is Scott French, who is an expert extraordinaire on fashion. Welcome, Scott.
True. Welcome, Scott.
I am very nervous about this.
Well, Scott, you are also a college
I'm always
professor.
nervous. I'm always nervous about it, so don't even feel bad.
Well, Scott, you are a college professor, so you should have no problem with
the
this.
professor doesn't always know all the answers.
So let's get started. Okay, our first question, and all of our questions, the answers are A, B, and C. So I hope you guys have your little ABC cards ready. Yes. So let's start. Our first question is, which fashion designer was the winner of Project Runway All-Stars Season 20? Was it A, Christian Siriano, B, Bishmi Cromartie, or C, Milan Breton? Your answers, please.
Are we ready?
Okay.
Oh,
go.
No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
Oh.
I'm not ready. I wasn't ready. Sorry.
Okay, the answer is Bishmi Cromartie.
Oh. Sorry.
Scott got, the professor got it right. The professor got it right. Tiana, I'm surprised.
I knew it's trouble. Scott is part
I'm
of this
disappointed, Tiana. Okay, next question. Did the department store Nordstrom's start out as a women's apparel line, B, a luxury department store, or C, a footwear store? So what did Nordstrom start out as? A women's apparel line, A, B, a luxury department store, or C, a footwear store? Answers, please.
I definitely don't know these answers. So.
Scott and Cicily got it right. See, a footwear store.
I'm going to let you win this
Tiana,
time.
I think it's too hot for you to think straight. It's too hot out there now.
You're letting us win. I love it. Well, I'm still losing, so don't worry.
Tiana, for the right amount of money, or maybe a fabulous gift from the heavens, I will get a few wrong.
I can't hear. That's my excuse. Too loud here.
Okay, next question. How many times has Ralph Lauren's brand created uniforms for the U.S. Olympic teams? A, 10 times, A, 10 times, B, 9 times, C, 7 times. What's your answer?
Ooh.
All right. Answers, please.
B, please.
The answer is B. I can't see your answer, Tiana.
I lost. Tiana got B.
Okay, Cicily, you only missed 1 out of 3. Good. Okay, Tiana, you finally arrived. Tiana. Okay, next question. Which noted fashion stylist has a new book coming out? Which noted fashion stylist has a new book coming out? A, Law Roach, B, Philip Block, or C, June Ambrose? I'll give the answers again. A, Law Roach, B, Philip Block, C, June Ambrose. Doom, 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 doom. Okay, answers, please.
Go home and cry. Okay, I don't know. Just gonna go home and cry.
Okay, Tiana, what's your answer, Scott?
C.
Oh my God, the professor got it wrong. Oh my God, the professor got it wrong.
Why did he get that terrible?
I don't know where he got those sound effects from. Okay, A is Law Roach. Law Roach has a new book coming out. Okay, next question. Which famous duo is coming together for a potential new fashion reality TV show? Is it A, Austin Scarlett and Santino Rice, B, Tim Gunn and Heidi Klum, C, Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie? Do you need this, the choices again?
No.
Okay, answers, please. Yay! Okay, the last question.
Oh gosh.
This is going to break the bank. We have a tie between Cicily and Scott.
What? I'm not winning?
No.
Tijana.
So if both you and Scott miss
Damn
this
it.
question, it'll be a three-way tie.
Oh no.
Right.
Okay. What is the name of supermodel Bella Hadid's new fragrance? Is it A, Bella, B, Slay, C, Arabella?
Oh no.
A, Bella, C, Slay. No, excuse me. A, Bella, B, Slay, C, Arabella.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to ask you the same too.
Very annoying. I don't know. All right. I guess this...
Dun,
I'm gonna go with what I would have named it, I guess.
Okay, answers. Yay! Cicily and Tijana got it right.
Oh no.
Scott, you're wrong.
So who won?
So, the winner is Cicily.
Bravo, Cicely. Bravo.
Yay, Cicely. Finally, Cicely.
Finally, Cicely wins.
And there's a tie between Scott and Tijana.
I think that was a miracle. This is the most miraculous because y'all know I didn't know half answers.
Listen,
That's great.
Tijana, I know you can say the reason you didn't win is because you're just so hot.
Oh, you can also
Yeah.
say it's because
I
I was
have
in
an
the
excuse.
Hamptons, darling.
I
or something
couldn't
like that.
hear you. Of the fabulousness in the Hamptons.
I guess that's what it is. Well, you look fabulous. So, you know, there is
Thank
that,
you.
of course.
Oh.
By the way, all of these questions came from our fashion news alerts on fashionreverie.com. So we want to tell all our subscribers, all our viewers, if you want more information and more of the actual quiz, there are actually 12 questions. We only did a little preview on this podcast, but all of the questions are on the 12 questions are on an article on fashionreverie.com. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much, Scott. Thanks
Thanks
Tijana.
for letting me join you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, Scott. Well, viewers, I am so excited to welcome some co-authors. Now, one you know very well, and one will be new to you. I am excited to welcome Vivian Kelly and Scott French, the co-authors of Donald J. Pliner, The Selling of One Soul. Welcome, Vivian. Welcome back, Scott.
Hey.
Well,
Good to
hi.
be here.
I am so
Happy
honored
Saturday.
to have you both on the show. And we're going to jump right in. So I'm going to direct this first to Scott. Why this book about Donald J. Pliner?
That's a good question. A lot of people ask you that. I had the privilege back in 2017 of working as Donald Pliner's publicist for about 3 or 4 months. Why it was such a short term, you got to read the book for that one. But he got involved in a lawsuit and it closed the company down. So during COVID, I worked with his wife on a podcast, producing a podcast. I kept noticing every guest that would come on her podcast wanted to know about Donald Pliner. And I thought, there's definitely a story here. So I asked him, I said, you ever think of writing a book, Donald? And he's like, no, but I've always dreamed of it. I'm like, well, maybe me. And that's how we got started. So it was it was a great subject that was handed to me on a silver platter.
Okay. Well, now I am going to direct this question to Vivian, but definitely, Scott, I want you to jump in. And it seems like a book, just starting to write a book, even when you're thinking about it, is a really daunting task. It's like not a small project. It's a huge thing. So how does one go about bringing a project like this to life?
Yes, it is. I've written courses before, but what you have to do is, okay, so Scott had tapes. He had hours and hours and hours of interviews with Scott and Donald, which is great. So that was a starting point. What I did once I got on there is I helped create a scaffolding. So before, it's like building a house. Before you start putting the pretty things on, you have to have the skeleton of whatever it is that you're going to do. So we decided on an outline. There was an outline before, and we kind of changed it up. And then from there, we started adding things in. Scott and I met, and he can talk about this, at his place in Connecticut. And we had boxes and boxes of articles. I'm a research rat, so that was heavenly for me. But with all these old newspapers and magazines and items that we had to blow through and see, are we going to use this? Does it fit into this chapter or that chapter? So we started creating little piles. And from there, we just started the writing, which in this case was by Zoom at 7:30 in the morning before we all went to work on our other things. And someone would start talking, and Scott did the writing, like on his computer. And then I would correct things. So we work really well together because we kind of we do think alike, but we have slightly different styles of prose. I came up in newspapers. So in newspapers, the idea is short and sweet. If you can use one word for 3, do that. So there was kind of some stylistic elements.
And I'm the publicist, so I make everything flowery.
Yes.
But Donald is like one of the most preeminent shoe designers on the planet. Definitely one of the most accomplished ones ever to come out of the United States, for certain. And he had insane amounts of archives. And everyone had an opinion on him. So Vivian and I were talking about it. We got, as you said, this framework. Thank God she was there, because I was like, I think I wrote the first chapter by myself. I realized, like, this is not going to work. I need some help. So I called Vivian, and I was like, please. But we, as she said, framed it all out. And then we decided, you know what, Donald's story is very important to have his version first. So we went the whole way through the story and got Donald's version of facts. And then we wrote Donald's story, and then we interviewed all the other people that are in the book to sort of layer on top of it. But the main storyline was Donald's. And we just got that storyline down and let it grow from there.
I think
and one thing, can I say something? We tried, I should say, not to interject our personal opinion, but rather say, she said blah, blah, blah. He said blah, blah, blah. And let the reader decide, which version is the version that they think. So
what really happened. I think that's they say there's like 3 versions of the truth, what you think happened, what the other person says happened.
Yeah.
And so I feel like this seems like a book that's going to like allow people maybe to make a choice about what they think the version of the truth is, right?
Yeah.
Or take sides and argue about it. Yeah.
There's a lot of
I love that.
As I said, a lot of areas in the book where there's actually multiple versions of the exact same story.
Yes.
It's fascinating. We're like, oh my God, what do we do? So we talked to more people and talked to more people. And a couple of times we just couldn't find that one truth. So we just, we did 2 versions and said, it parted ways, here they go, and it joined back together, and just let them decide, because there was no way of getting to the bottom of it.
I think that's fascinating. Well, you said you got many versions of the truth, and I feel like there were many celebrity names in this story. So, Scott, tell us about some of those names and how they are part of the story, how they're coming in.
Well, Donald was the shoe designer of choice for Elton John, for Wayne Newton, for Diana Ross had some of his garments.
Cher
was a big wearer. We had all these amazing celebrities to come in, because what you'll learn in the book, the first half of the book, Donald was a retailer before he started designing shoes. He had a store on Rodeo Drive, and everyone shopped at that store. Literally everyone, from Tina Turner to Zandra Rhodes to designer Kevin Hall, who was lucky enough we got him to write the foreword for us. They all shopped at the store. So as being on Rodeo Drive and having like a very trendy store, everyone came shopping. And then when he launched his shoe collection, it made sense. They followed up by wearing the shoes. Right. So we had the difficulty was like, how do we pick which ones to put in? And also, how do we get permission, and how do we get a hold of them to put them? So we got a couple people like Suzanne Summers from Three's Company, who just recently passed, and Tina Turner, who we actually got some statements from their people, if you will. But others we were able to sort of pull it together, but they mentioned him in the press, or they were in an article. We used those pieces of articles to sort of support the storyline of them being in there. And a few of them I was lucky, like Wayne Newton, I was lucky enough to meet in Donald's.
Yeah, that was great.
took the photos
That's
myself.
amazing. Well, I think that, you know, of course, everyone is fascinated by celebrities and how they interact with designers, you know what I mean? And those relationships are so important for the designers as well as the stars themselves. So I think that's really exciting. I guess I'll direct this question, start with Vivian, but it's for both of you. Is there anything you had to leave out, or do you feel like you told the whole story?
I think that based on what we just said, we kind of put it all out there. I mean, you know, there's a particular, I don't want to give the book away, but there's this one version of how did Donald get into Nordstrom. There's definitely two sides of the story. And again, let you decide. When you read it, you can decide what you think actually happened. So no, not really. We kind of put it all on the table. Right, Scott?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Donald told us far more than I think he probably needed to tell us. Not that he should have. We started this whole thing at the very beginning. I said Donald and his wife Lisa, who was also very integral to the story in many ways. They've been together 20 plus, 25 years, 26 years.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm not going to write a story that's going to be sugar coated. You're going to tell us the real truth, real version, and there's nothing off limits. He's like, I wouldn't want to hold anything off limits. There was one storyline involving some family members that it was revealing some very personal details about their lives that we decided, did it change the story by not including it? Would it propel the story forward by including it? We chose to keep it.
Not really.
It didn't really. So we left that out.
No.
Other than that one thing, just to sort of reveal some family secrets.
Sure.
Everything else was in it though. It really, if it involved the business, it's there. And it's not all pretty. I mean, Donald Pliner doesn't come off looking great all the time. Other times he's a creative genius that he is, but other times he's not. And there were some bad decisions made along the way. And, you know, Donald was very honest about that. Lisa's very honest about it. And they're all in there.
I think that's much more compelling though for, you know, for a reader. Like, it's not as fun to just hear like a praise perfect story. I think it's important for people to understand the ups and downs and, you know, kind of the journey that people really go on, especially when they're pursuing their art, you know. What would you say, I guess I'll start with Scott, what do you think you hope readers get from this story?
That's a really good question, and not one of the prevalent. I think I like that one. I would hope that they walk away realizing that the fashion business and isn't all that is what is on the surface. There's a lot of real hard work behind it. It's a very, very high stakes business. A tremendous amount can be earned as far as prestige and money, and a tremendous amount can be lost. However, no one gets there without a crazy amount of work. And I think that you'll see that what's on the surface isn't always what should be believed. I hope they take that away. And that's my desire.
Okay. And what would you say, Vivian?
Yeah, to add to Scott's point, there's a lot of failure that comes with success. I mean, no one really celebrates the failures, everyone celebrates the successes, as in any entertainment business, particularly. So, you know, we show both sides. So it's not easy. You know, if you want to be in this business, as Scott says, be prepared to get really tough and like do the work.
And the title of the book is The Selling of One's Soul. It's a double play on soul of a shoe. But I don't know, when he sold his company, he sold his soul. And he sold his soul multiple times over. And really, you'll see that. And there's a great deal of lament as an undercurrent to certain decisions. They're made for the right decision at the time. So it's not not so clear cut.
I love all of these answers. And again, I think that it's just much more intriguing and interesting when you get to see a full representation of what's necessary, what, you know, like the work, whether it's the underbelly or like, you know, the things that are hard, the hard decisions or the hard, you know, the hard moments and how good or bad, how that person may have dealt with it, because sometimes it's probably in a positive way and maybe sometimes it's, you know, they wish they might have done it differently or whatever. And
sometimes you see you make a decision today that really has ramifications in 6 years from now. It's like, wow, I wish I had done that, but at the time it was the right decision. So it's
right, exactly. Well, for both of you, then this is my final question, but it might be interesting since you are in a co-authorship. What's next for you? And do you have any other stories you want to write together or separately? I will start with you, Vivian.
Oh, yes. Actually, we have one that I particularly am really hoping we can get done. And Yeah. So I can't say anything because the deal isn't signed,
Oh,
but this would be
okay.
more, shall we say, something that would lead possibly to television, Netflix, reality TV. Yes, it's
Okay.
very juicy.
Okay,
That's all I
hush,
can
hush,
say
but
about it. Yeah,
exciting.
that's
Our
all I
viewers
can
love when we
say.
got a hot tip. So, okay,
And
hush, hush.
it
Yeah,
involves
yes.
fashion as well. So maybe a future segment of Fashion Reverie Talks. You can go and talk about that one.
I
Mhm.
love it. Yes. Well, our feelings will be hurt if you don't give us the scoop when you're able to tell us.
Of course we will. Of
Yeah,
course
and
we will.
I want to say that I was very nervous about bringing Vivian on board. 'Cause I'm like, oh my God, I'm very much the control freak. Like I like things a certain way, whatever. But having gone through the process now, honestly, I don't want to write another book without, Vivian by my side in this case. I mean, I think we really forged an amazing friendship through this process. And it's very difficult to find someone in life that completes one's sentences. And I fully have trust. So it's a lot easier working with a partner on a project like this. It really is, to have someone to bounce things back and forth on. And I hope that we do many more books together.
Thank you, Scott. The real edge was that we always disagreed. And then at the end, we would weirdly come to the same conclusion. It was very strange. Like we'd start on the opposite side of an issue as we were writing. And then we were like, we just agreed. That was what was so strange and great, actually.
Yep.
I think that sounds like an amazing collaboration. And so I really want to thank both of you. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Vivian, for joining us on Fashion Reverie Talks and for sharing information about the book. And most important, when is the book available? Like, I need, give me the, that
I'm
kind of
holding the one copy that exists right now. This is the advanced copy, but it's
advanced
gonna
copy. We love that.
You can get it on pre-sale now. I think it'll be in the Chiron where to get it on pre-sale, but it's going to be really sort of distributed on or about July 10th. So in about 2 weeks.
Okay. So on or about July 10th?
Yep, July 10th. In about 2
July
weeks.
10th. On or about July 10th, so that we can all get into the drama, the fascination, and the backstory that I'm sure you guys have written about so well, and in an interesting, it sounds like, way with interesting perspectives. So I really appreciate you joining us, and please come back and see us again.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, viewers, that's it for this episode of Fashion Reverie Talks.
We would like to thank our guest, Scott French, and Editor-in-Chief William Gooch.
For information on these and other stories, go to fashionreverie.com. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next season.